Welcome back to the Brews Line Roadshow. I'm your host, Daryl, and we're in downtown Las Vegas today at the Modest Brewing Company with Scott Seal. Scott, say hello.
Hello. Hello.
Hey, Scott, appreciate you taking some time with us to introduce our listeners to maybe a little bit different side of Las Vegas.
Absolutely.
Than most people are used to. And we've been in town for a couple of days here and really enjoying the craft beer scene here.
Nice.
It's a nice surprise. It's not what you usually think of, I think, in Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
But it's been a great time. Let's just start with some history of Modest Brewing.
Yeah, absolutely. So Modest Brewing, we had our soft opening this year. We're kind of the babies in Las Vegas. We opened January 12th. We got our brew pub license later on in the year, around the end of February, and we're able to start brewing in April. So we finally got our beer out on the market this past month where people can actually enjoy
fresh new beer
for the city. Yeah.
Awesome.
My business partner and I, Casey, we started this concept towards the end of 2023. He was working for 777's Brewing at the time, and I was the general manager of Able Baker at the time. And we kind of collabed and decided that we wanted to do this brewery. We met at Able Baker together. He was an assistant brewer there while I was the GM, and kind of formed a friendship. When he ventured off to his own thing, he decided he wanted to do his own thing. Came in one random day for a beer and said, "I'm starting a brewery." And I said, "Do you want to start it together?" He said, "Yeah." And we did.
Oh, that sounds great. So give me a little bit more of your personal story, at Able Baker, but prior to that, a little bit of your history.
Yeah. So I'm a Detroit native, moved to Las Vegas a little less than 20 years ago. I think it was 2006, 2007. I moved out here. In that time frame, I've been lucky enough to work with a lot of different restaurant groups and things. I had a music background and bartending background back in Detroit for years. So when I came here, I was like, well, why not get back into bartending and things like that? And I was lucky enough to work with some great chefs like Gordon Ramsay and great chefs like Hubert Keller running restaurants of theirs. And then moved into the craft beer world as I fell in love with craft beer. I was a home brewer for about 10 to 12 years of my tenure here. And thought, well, why not start doing beer more professionally? I was lucky enough to get a job with a distribution company out here called Johnson Brothers. And I was their craft and import beer specialist for about 2.5, 3 years prior to COVID. And then COVID kind of took all of our jobs from us at the time. And because of that, I got more into our local craft beer scene and started a company called Drink Local, which was kind of just doing free marketing and advertising for local breweries during COVID to make sure they could continue to get business.
Try to keep them going.
Exactly. Yeah. We were a very small market here. I mean, right at the beginning of COVID, there was probably 6 less breweries than we have right now. So we were very young, very, very young. And then through that, got a lot of friendships throughout the craft beer scene here and ended up landing at Able Baker, where I was the GM there for a little over 3 years, probably, kind of helping to grow the craft scene from within, which was nice, giving me the experience to be able to come out and do this.
Well, yeah. And when you think about just growing the craft beer experience and you think about making that transition, okay, GM to owner. Tell us a little bit about that and some of the challenges there. I know you're still pretty new in it.
Yeah, no. It's a humbling experience, I'll tell you that, to begin with. Whatever you think you know, you don't, which is fun to find out. Yeah, it was a fun venture. Working with the city in Las Vegas, they were super helpful in regards to our business concept and what we're trying to do. We're lucky enough to be in an area of revitalization to where the city is really behind us, giving us incentives and different grants to be able to build and do certain things. I think in some aspects, other areas of Las Vegas might be a little tougher to be able to pull this off. But our area in the Arts District is they were very, very helpful, which was super nice. I think the biggest things was just permitting, licensing, all the dotted lines, all the stuff that you don't think about really when you're going through managing somebody else's business and
right, because that's all taken care of.
Exactly.
Showing up and taking care of the people.
That's behind the veil.
Yeah.
You don't get to see it. So when we jumped over into this world of dealing with our general contractor and putting everything together, it was definitely a humbling experience to learn what I didn't know, but exciting and fun. and frustrating. All the
All at the
emotions.
same time.
Yeah.
All at the same time.
Yeah.
So where did the name come from, Modest Brewing Company?
So the original concept for Modest, my business partner Casey and I had the idea of just doing a small little spot, maybe 2,000 square foot location, 5-barrel brew house, 8 taps, really modest operation. That was our goal. I sat down and I crunched some numbers on it and realized that in no way, shape, or form would we be able to even afford rent if we had that concept. So I was like, oh, that's a crapshoot. Let's figure something out. So we had a lot of buddies in the industry that was like, well, 5-barrel is not a good system anyway. You want to do at least a 7-barrel. At least you can do a little bit of distro from that, or you can produce a little bit more. So you're making a little more as you grow. So we started looking for 7-barrel systems. We started talking to a company called Craftmaster Stainless up in Sacramento, and we're talking to them about a 7-barrel system to get. It was right in the time frame to where Craft Brewers Conference was coming down to Las Vegas. So it was 2024, I think. And they hit us up and said, hey, I know you're looking for 7-barrel systems, but we've got this really cool 10-barrel that we're going to be bringing down for the show. Do you guys want to check it out? So Casey and I sat and thought for a minute, like, yes, yeah, we'll check it out. So we flew up to Sacramento, checked it out, immediately fell in love with this 10-barrel system. It's not a modest system in any way, shape, or form. It's all pneumatic valves. It's got touchpad operations. There's only one of them in the world. So we were lucky enough. They brought it down to Las Vegas for the show. We picked it up. We have friends over at North Fifth Brewing who were gracious enough for us to let it store at the building until we found our dream building.
Place, yep.
So now we had this amazing, not modest 10-barrel system. We're like, well, our LLC is modest. We already have the brand. How do we fit into modest now? And we sat and thought about it, and we realized that the way trends are going in beer drinking, we thought it would be best to focus on modest drinking. So majority of our tap list is below 6%, especially with hot summers here. It's easier to drink a 4.5 to 5% lager than it is a 12% stout all the time.
Exactly.
Not saying anything bad about 12% stouts, because I'll drink.
Gotta have one once in a while.
Exactly. But yeah, so Modest now fits into not even just the atmosphere around the spot, mine and Casey's personalities, but also the beer list just being a moderately ABV. So
you mentioned, both you have history in the restaurant side and the brewery side, and from the craft beer community here. How did that help you guys get started? It sounds like you had a lot of, as you put, buddies in the industry.
Oh yeah. So with the Las Vegas scene being so young, I mean, I feel, I hope it was the same for everybody. I'm not sure if it was or if it wasn't, I don't know, but we got a lot of help from all of the breweries in Las Vegas. I mean, coming from deals on tanks, just giving us information on how to get things done, coming in actually helping setting things up. We had so much love that was given to us from the community, which is huge, and I think it helps us continue to drive what our notion is, which is bringing community back to craft beer and getting the hype of we're trying to make amazing beer to like we're trying to make an amazing community. Amazing beer comes along with it.
I noticed you have a brewery right next door, well, almost right next door.
Yeah,
there's what is self-driving car?
So
in between?
Yes, right, yeah, Vey self-driving car is right between us and Chin Chin, Japanese seafood house and brewery. They are amazing people. They were instrumental in us building this place out. Chef V, one of their owners and chef, would often come over while Casey and I are here building tables and stuff. He'd come over with just a pitcher of beer. Like, here you go, guys.
Just inspiring you.
just helping us out. This north side of Charleston, the Arts District, the south side of Charleston on Main Street has about 6 breweries.
Right.
So it's an easy little walkabout. The north side, however, only had Chin Chin until we came up here. So it wasn't a lot of incentive for people to cross Charleston just to go to one brewery and then go back down to the other 6. So now that we're up here, I think that's also why Chef V was so helpful. He's like, just come up here.
Happy to see it.
We'll bring more feet.
You need a few more on the other side.
Just a couple more. Yeah, I got locations. If people have ideas, I got locations for you.
That's awesome. Now let's talk a little bit about the tap room and what people can kind of expect. I'm wondering if this was an old car repair place or if the doors just got in here for the.
So it was, yeah. So in the 60s, from what I'm hearing, it was an auto shop. I want to say it was the late 70s 80s, it kind of shut down. And then it was a few things in between. Most recently, prior to us getting it, it was the showroom for a show out here called Particle Inc. It's kind of a variety show of entertainers.
Oh, wow.
They ended up getting a full-time gig at the Luxor and left this building. This was their start off, kind of rave-esque type of environment. I think since then they have shut down, but yeah, we were excited to find out that they're at Luxor because we thought to ourselves, well, we're in their original building. We could just make them a beer for their show.
That's
This would
right.
be awesome. And they're like, no, they shut down. I'm like, oh, that was a great thought. So
Yeah, so it's called Modest, but this is a pretty nice sized room here.
it's a big space. Yeah, it's a 6,000 square foot room. We saved the back third for brew space. We wanted to make sure that there's a lot of open environment. I think a lot of times when you go to newer craft, breweries and things like that, their tap rooms are kind of an afterthought as opposed to their brewing space, which makes sense.
And that's where the money, they got to have the manufacturing to make the money, right?
So Casey and I sat down for a long time with the blueprints of this building and went through 15 or 20 different iterations of what the inside of this place was going to look like. And it really stemmed from the cooler that we've got, which is about an 800 square foot, about 25 by 38 foot, 13 foot high cooler. Not a Modest cooler. There's a lot of not modest things at Modest. Kind of tongue in cheek at this point, I think. But we knew we needed a large cooler space if we ever wanted to get in distro and have staging room. We needed to have that space. So once we figured that part out, we built the rest of the brewery just kind of around that cooler itself. But the other thing is we wanted to make sure we just had nice open grazing area per se. Our front space, we initially opened up with a tiny little parking lot of 5 cars, thinking that, the vibe would be weird if people are walking past 5 cars to get up into the brew house. It's not really a feasible parking lot. We decided to kind of gut it and just turn it all into patio space. So now we've got this 3,500 square foot patio out front.
And the doors open to it, so it's all...
Exactly. Doors open up. Yep. It's created a very inviting atmosphere in the heart of the Arts District, which we really, really enjoy. It kind of transports you out of Vegas a little bit.
Probably the next thing we're going to talk a lot of people aren't familiar with the Arts District. They when they think Las Vegas, there's 2 things. There's the Strip and there's Fremont Street, right?
100%.
And somewhere here in the middle.
Yeah, we're the little hidden gem in between.
Yeah, so talk a little bit about the district and how it's, risen up a little bit in recent years. And
yeah, absolutely.
Those type of things.
Recently, I mean, I would say the last 10, 15 years, we started seeing this area really kind of jump up. After COVID, it really kind of exploded this area. But we had some great stuff down here as old as 10, 11 years ago. Hop Nuts Brewing was one of the first breweries down here. We had Rebar, which is a super cool bar that's kind of divey, but it's got a bunch of antiques and resale stuff that's for sale in there. It's kind of become an industry hub for us. Like we would go to Rebar and get like the mystery beers, little bag, $2. And then you just drink it. If you looked at what it was, you lost the game. You had to just drink what it was and just call it a day.
That's right.
But in that 10-year time span, we've seen so many things kind of just grow and build out here. We noticed that the area itself was starting to be filled with entertainment, starting to be filled with restaurants and things like that. Abel Baker came in towards the end of 2019 as being one of the newer breweries coming into the area. Craft House put a tap room up here. Then shortly after COVID, we had a Huddle, which opened up. We had Nevada Brew Works, which opened up. We brought in the Silver Stamp, opened up in that time frame. Kind of opened up into a whole bunch of great building to the community, bringing a lot of people into the scene.
So as people walk into the tap room, obviously we're audio only right now. What can they expect? I know we talked a little bit about the open air, but
oh yeah. So one thing we don't do a lot of sports in the location. We do a lot of retro style television. So we'll have things like He-Man on the TVs. We'll have things like Original Family Feud. We'll have American Gladiators on TVs. We try to have Bob Ross on one of the TVs, just constantly painting.
Well, I'm from Indiana, so you know Bob. Yeah. I know Bob pretty well.
So we like to keep that kind of influence of just bringing people and transporting them out of what like normal hustle and bustle of Vegas is, which is gaming, sports, all that kind of stuff. One thing that people can expect is, being greeted right as they walk in. kind of just a really warm, inviting atmosphere as you get into the building. A lot of soft, warm colors, multiple different seating areas for different levels of comfort. Is one big thing that we wanted to do. Both Casey and I have young children, so we wanted to make sure that we had an environment that was housing or able to house like large groups and families and things like that, which is why we also put our kitchen in, which serves hot dogs and sandwiches. I wouldn't call them gourmet, but they're not just run-of-the-mill hot dogs and sandwiches either. So they're modestly delicious. Yeah,
modestly delicious. I love it. I love it. Well, obviously, you mentioned the warm atmosphere, the warm greeting. What about your help, the people you have work for you here? What are some skills, some qualities that when you're bringing people on, obviously you knew some people already?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. We've had a lot of friends in the industry that kind of came through with us as we were building this place that had interest. So we were able to bring a really great group in. One of the things that both Casey and I believe in is just honest customer service, just the true meaning of hospitality. And we got lucky with a lot of our team. So the thing that we look at mostly is just how people can talk to people. Are they able to just like crack jokes? What's their sense of humor like? Can they converse? Are they smiling? Are they happy? Are they genuinely energetic just about life in general? We just look for those types of things in people's characters in order to come in and work with us here. Beer and stuff like that can be educated. We got lucky enough to where we have some very educated beer people here, which helps out tremendously as well. We get helped out by one of the other breweries. Assistant brewers is one of our bartenders here. He just helps out a couple of days. We've got a gentleman named Mark who is, very educated, worked with the Cicerone program for years, and is now with us here. And
I think I talked to Mark when I called. I called last week.
You called on the phone, yeah. He's actually here. Right? He was the gentleman that just walked in.
He said, "You got to talk to Scott."
Yeah.
I said, "Okay, I'll talk to Scott."
Yeah. So we've been lucky enough to get some highly educated people, and also just people that have some really fun personalities. And I think that's the big thing is we want to make sure that when people come into a place, it's approachable, it's not pretentious. We're not trying to teach you about beer, but if you want to learn, we can help educate, type of thing.
Well, I think as you mentioned earlier, there's a little bit of alternative, right? You're not going to come in here and get the tons of 7%
exactly
IPAs and 12% stouts. Going to come in here and get some drinkable, flavorful beers and some modestly delicious sandwiches.
Exactly.
But let's talk a little bit more about the beer.
Yeah.
So any special approaches you guys take? Obviously, that lower ABV is one approach, but what are some of the things that you guys look at when you're creating beers, when you're creating a new beer? What are some of the things that kind of go through both of you guys' head?
Some of the things recently that Casey and I look at is just styles that we've always loved that we don't see very often. Being, the owners of the building, we're able to kind of make the decisions now of like, all right, we're going to do an ESB. All right, we're going to do a Kolsch. All right, we're going to do an Amber Lager. We're going to do a Bohemian Pils, like stuff you don't see in a lot of different places. Whether or not the market wants it, we'll find out. We're still young, so the market will tell us.
That may change over time, right?
Exactly.
We may be making a lot more of this one.
Exactly.
Than that
one. So we have the idea of we don't want to get into distribution for a while. Nevada is one of the last few remaining 3-tier states. So unless you're putting up numbers, there's really no money making in it other than just marketing. So we're going to hold off on that as long as possible. So that also helps us to kind of just be a little bit more experimental in here and make some styles. If something's selling really good, we'll remake it. Until then, we're just going to keep on refilling the tap list with something new and exciting. When we opened up with Waffles, which is our Belgian blonde, and our unfiltered Pils, which is called a fine unfiltered Pils. And then we did our Belgian Wit and our white IPA. And we always talk about doing a white IPA because the style kind of fell off about 8 to 10 years ago, I'd say, where Deschutes had Chainbreaker and Squatter's Wasatch had Ghost Rider, these really nice Belgian yeast forward IPAs. They kind of became more of like I think they moved more towards Belgian IPAs after that, which were more West Coast style, crystal clear, but Belgian yeast esters. And those white IPAs had a little bit more of like a Belgian hazy IPA, where you still had some coriander, still had a little orange, but then had this really nice dry hopping to it.
And then,
So
of course, there's probably a hazy IPA.
Exactly. We haven't made a hazy yet. The white IPA is our
Is your hazy?
Right now, yeah.
Okay.
We understand the market to that extent. We probably will have one eventually. Yeah.
Just as it starts to die down, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
right?
we'll wait till the very end of the hype for hazies to start doing one.
Well, in your short period of time, would you say there are one or two beers that maybe you two guys are really proud of?
We're lucky enough. We're proud of a lot of them. The one that we're most proud of is our throwback to everyone's kind of intro to craft beer, which was the Sierra Nevada Pale Ale. That was my intro. All of our buddies, it's like, yeah, that was the first thing that outside of a Miller Lite, Bud Light, or Keystone that like had beer flavor. It was like, wait, beer tastes like this? I didn't know that.
I thought it was just kind of this yellowish water.
Exactly, yeah. We all grew up with our dad's beer type of thing. So we decided to brew a really easygoing, old school, classic pale ale. We call it Southern Nevada, which is just 100% Cascade, easy drinking, light amber color, really paying homage to the Sierra Nevada Pale Ale. And we're proud of that one. That really came out really nice. It just drinks, it reminds people of what brought people back into craft beer.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Where I'm from, beer renaissance, or I shouldn't even say renaissance, the beer explosion was a little further back. A little further back.
Oh, yeah.
But, we're in the Midwest, so it takes us forever to get everything.
Yeah.
Right?
It starts early.
So a lot of folks where I come from, their intro to craft beer was a cream ale.
Oh, was it the Genesee Cream?
Yeah, so it was Genesee Cream, but then Sun King Brewing in Indianapolis, which is the second largest brewery in Indiana, they decided to brew the Sun King because they like the Genesee. You can hear Dave's story. He's like number 5 on the podcast.
Oh, that's awesome.
But we're probably not going to brew this more than once.
That's kind of how we felt, yeah.
It's 80% of the sales.
See, that's kind of how we felt.
And they have a whole. They probably have 25 beers on tap and lots of stuff out in distribution in Indiana. But they're like, we like it, but it just took off. They ended up naming a street after the name of the beer.
Oh, seriously?
It's called Sunlight Cream Ale. There's Sunlight Drive. Long story short, they were going to move the brewery there and something fell through, but the city had already named the street.
That's awesome.
So they have their own street.
That's super cool.
You hear those stories all the time, just kind of funny little things that come out of, and I don't think it's just in craft beer, it's just entrepreneurial in general. So when you're thinking about marketing, you guys are obviously new. What are some of the things you're doing to bring patrons in, whether those are pure marketing or community-based? Talk about that a little bit.
So we kind of lagged on our marketing a little bit, just because when we opened, we didn't have our beer. So we did very minimal when we first started, just a post maybe every other week on social media, just to remind people that we're open. Come get a sandwich, come get a hot dog. But we really felt weird about really trying to push too hard when we didn't have any product. It's weird to say, come to Modest Brewing and drink everyone else's beer. Yeah. So we held off until right before opening. I think like April 5th, April 6th, somewhere around there, we started kind of hitting marketing a little bit harder. And we're still trying to find our voice, I think, right now in the market when it comes to marketing. We focus on social media marketing, which seems to be with craft brewing probably the most feasible way to get your name out there. Other platforms like Google and sponsored ads and stuff like that are a little more difficult to get into. They have a little bit more, you got to be fishy. They don't like to advertise alcohol and things like that. And it's like, well, how do I advertise my brewery?
Yeah.
If I can't advertise alcohol, they're like, get rid of the alcohol side. I'm like, what? So for us, it's been a slight challenge just getting our kind of marketing mode together. Additionally, in our location on this north side of Charleston, it's a little bit slower pace. So we don't get as much
foot traffic down there. Yeah.
So down on the south side, you're in the middle of it. So you don't have to market as hard, I don't think, necessarily, because you're just going to get, as long as you got a great look and you're doing some stuff out on the sidewalk, and then you're able to get some people walking through just for organic traffic. The additional thing up here is we don't have a lot of parking. There's no parking lots near us or anything like that. So it takes a little bit for us to figure out how to have space. So
you have to find like a very unmodest individual to go down to the other side of Charleston and just like a Pied Piper thing. Just leading them down.
The old Vegas cards on the street. Just start passing those out. Yeah. We do have a
instead of the photos that used to be on those cards, just a photo of a cold beer.
Yeah. We forgot it still have like this sparkle lights covering bubbles on it or something. That would be pretty entertaining.
So what about community events? What are you guys thinking around there? I know, again, being new, but what are some things you're thinking of participating or?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've been talking with a few companies and a few groups. There's a yoga group that they do yoga at different breweries already. And they want to add us to the list, and we've got a great patio for it and also a large enough space to where we can actually do stuff. So we're thinking about things like that. We've got friends that, work with restaurants and other stuff. There's a lot of pet adoption spots that reach out. And with our patio space, I think that we lend, pretty good space for stuff like that.
I'm going to give you an idea.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Which I stole from a brewery, but they said it went absolutely nuts.
Yeah, I'm in.
Because you guys are kid friendly, right?
Yeah.
They brought in like some reptile museum.
Oh, super cool.
Brought in.
Yeah.
He said they were lined up like to see.
Yeah, stuff like that.
And they what else was the other one? Oh, they did. I don't know if you remember turtle races.
Oh, yeah.
They put all the turtles in the middle and they number them and they just spread up. Yeah. It sounds so dumb, but they said those were their two most popular events.
Yeah, see, stuff like that is just
because everybody's got, trivia, right?
Yeah. Yeah. We do karaoke and it's been working. The space that we're sitting at right now will have a full stage in the next few months. We're building a full stage here. The wall behind you is all acoustic boarding just to try to deaden so it doesn't ring so crazy throughout this whole brewery.
Yeah.
So we do plan on having live music often. So that's one big thing. I'm a musician. I was a traveling musician for a long time. So I missed that side of my life. And I was like, if I have
and you can come and play.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's probably not going to cost you as much as hiring someone.
Yeah, exactly. Won't be as entertaining either.
Well,
I made that mistake once at Able Baker. We had, when I was working there, we had we used to do live music for our first Friday events, and the band had dropped out. So I told our owner there, I was like, I'll just do it. It's fine. I'll just do it. And I was always an original musician. So when we were on the road and stuff, people would pay tickets to come see you. So you get to build off the energy of the crowd because they're excited. And it just makes the show more exciting, and you're just playing what you want to play. And it had been a long time since I'd done just like a cover set. And I remember I got up on that stage and I started playing, and not one person's looking.
Not one person's clapping.
Not one person's clapping. It just psychologically broke me down so hard. It was one of the worst shows I've ever played in my entire life. I forgot almost the words to all the songs. I stopped halfway through. I did 3 sets. The third set that I did was just playing choruses of songs and getting drunk people to sing along. It turned into a comedy sketch for the most part.
Well, hey, you never know. Sometimes in a pinch, you need a comedic music.
It worked out. But yeah, it was definitely, that was another humbling experience in my life where I was like, I'll just do it. It's fine. I was like, oh no, this is the worst. Yeah.
Oh boy! Thanks for sharing. Thanks for sharing that. And that's kind of what I was going to get on to our next topic. So, what are some of the things you do for fun outside the brewery? Obviously, you guys have been very busy since you got started.
Really busy.
What are some things you like to do? You mentioned family. What are some activities that you guys like?
So,
besides turtle races,
it's only turtle races. Oddly enough, yeah. So oddly enough, like for us. Casey and I both have young children. I have a 2.5-year-old and a 10-month-old. So we're right in the middle of just these little crazy,
really young children
personalities. So, and then we decided to open a brewery in the middle of it too, which was great. Just like lately, it's been as simple as just being home with the family. That's what we do for fun now. We hang out. We'll go to the park and just let the kids run around and do that kind of stuff. And it's just a good little brain detox of the business and getting back with the family.
Important part of it. Super important part, as you'll find as it keeps getting busier.
Exactly. So all those promises that I give to my wife are like, this isn't forever. Just so you know, how things are right now is not forever. It'll change in time.
but it's all good. It's all good. Speaking of time, other goals and other plans for the business. You mentioned the music. Mm-hmm. You mentioned maybe some point distribution, but what other plans have you guys been concocting?
We'll let the market decide on the distribution side. The one thing that we're working on hard right now is we're working on a draft stable non-alcoholic option. We're seeing trends leading towards not only low ABV, which is our our whole theme here.
Right.
But the non-alc game is really jumping up. So we have a product called Modest Tea, which is a dry hop sparkling green tea that we've been put on. We released it just a week ago, just a couple of test batches, and it's been going through the roof. So that's one big product that we plan on really pushing throughout the rest of this summer. As we were making this product, we forgot about caffeine content in green tea. So as we were putting out these first few pints, we're like, just so you know, there's probably anywhere between 60 and 120 milligrams of caffeine in there. So we'll have the only NA that you have to cut people off of after 3.
Because they've become too wired.
Exactly, yeah. So we did some research, and we found a couple of companies that do some really good flavorful decaf teas that we can use and just strip that aspect out of it. But that's a big driving force for us here is having that option, especially being so close to the city and people coming to lunch and all kind of stuff. They can't always drink beer. So it'd be nice to have a really easy draft NA option that looks like beer, has some of the similarity flavors. Everybody does hop waters, but hop water is just a carbonated water with hops, and then they add some sugars and things like that for flavor, which doesn't always make it very draft stable. So,
any of the alternative drinks you guys thinking about, not necessarily making, but serving the florals and some of those cava and some of those more exotic?
So we're going to be making a seltzer. We're going to be doing that kind of stuff. We sell wine. Everybody asks us if we're going to jump on board and get a full liquor license so we can start doing cocktails, and we'll never do that. I can say that. I'll put my foot down right now and say we'll never be a cocktail bar. I feel like a lot of times when you get a full bar with a brewery, you turn into just a bar that makes beer.
Right.
Which isn't a bad thing, because I mean there's some places here that do both of it great. So there's no knock in that. It's just,
it gives an option for people who are non-beer drinkers that might be going around with beer drinkers. But sometimes you're right. It's how's this different from a bar?
Yeah.
Other than I've got 6 taps of that's made or something like that.
Yeah. And then, like I said, there's some places here that do it, but they all do it well.
Yeah. So. Well, there's lots of different business models, and you just, sometimes you pick one and sometimes you have to repick it later on.
Exactly.
I think that's, again, across multiple businesses. Well, I only have one more question for you, Scott.
I'm ready for it.
It's the most important one, at least to me.
All right.
What beer should I try today?
Oh, man. I think you should try the Southern Nevada.
Sounds like a plan. Okay, we're back, and in front of me is the Southern Nevada Pale Ale. I'm going to drink a little of this while you kind of talk about what really has gone into this beer. You mentioned earlier it's one you're really proud of, but help our listeners understand kind of how you built it up and
absolutely
why you guys are so proud of it.
Yeah, so this is one of the beers that we just put a lot of love into. We really thought about what brought us into craft beer. We really wanted to bring that kind of nostalgia back to people coming into the brewery. I think a lot of us, as we grew up, like I said earlier, it was like our first intro to craft beer was a Sierra Nevada Pale Ale, where it's like, this doesn't taste like beer. This has flavor. So we wanted to kind of bring back that same kind of feeling and remind people as how crazy beer has gotten since then. That this was originally the first new flavor of beer you first had, was just this easy Cascade, malty, very balanced pale ale. And that was what made you excited about beer. There's a lot more exciting things nowadays in regards to the creation of craft
exciting
beer.
Isn't always best, though, because this is delicious.
It definitely is not. Yeah, so it's one of those ones where it's not trying to be anything it isn't. And I think that's kind of our style of brewing.
Yeah, you have the hop flavor in there. It's not knocking you down.
Yep.
But this is a beer. I'm not a big fan of the lighter beers.
Mm-hmm.
But this is one I feel like I could drink all day.
Yeah, it's a 5% easy.
Yeah, that makes it even easier.
Yeah, you can have 3 of them and not feel like you're going to pass out in the sun. So that's a big thing that Casey does well. Is we produce beers that we're not trying to hide anything, or we're not trying to present it as something it isn't. We've got an unfiltered Pilsner.
Modest approach to making beer.
Very much so. Very much so.
Modest approach. Well, Scott, hey, I appreciate the time you took today with me and helping people understand maybe the Las Vegas they don't know right now,
They don't.
especially craft beer fans, right?
Mhm.
You know, it's not always thought of as the craft beer destination, right?
We're young. We're a young scene. When we had CBC here in 2024, there was a lot of griping about it. People were mad that they had to come to Vegas for CBC. They're like, Vegas doesn't have a beer scene. Why are we going there? And then they were pleasantly surprised when they got here. But it was nice to, see people's minds changed when they actually got here. The people that actually came out to this district were pleasantly surprised. The people that stayed on the strip, obviously, there's no craft beer on the strip. The distribution rules really don't bring us out there.
Did they do it at the convention center?
I think so. Yeah, the big parts of the convention center. A lot of them stayed at the Venetian and things like that. So you would think that those casinos would have brought in a bunch of local beer. They did not. It was all.
Yeah, it's Vegas.
Yeah, it's Vegas. It has a very Vegas mentality down there.
Yeah. Well, again, thanks a bunch. Cheers, my friend.
Cheers.